Okay, wait, I think I was muted. All right. So hopefully you can hear me now. I'm going to put this over here. If you can't hear me, let me know. But if you can hear me, give me a yes in the comments because I have no idea if you can actually hear me or not. Again, this is my first time doing this. Bear with me with the technical difficulties. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Again, if you can't hear me, just pop in the comments and let me know. And then I will try to troubleshoot. All right, let me get all my screens together here. And again, thank you for bearing with me with all of the many technical difficulties here. All right. Okay. So let's get started on this. Enough with the switching screens. All right. So today you are here because you want to find out why your food cravings aren't your fault, and they aren't. So I cannot wait to share everything I have to share with you guys here today. I don't know how long I'll be going live. It just depends on how long I have to say what I got to say. It also depends on how many questions I get from you guys as well. All right, so why don't we start by letting me know in the comments where you guys are tuning in from? Let me know in the comments. I want to know. And then I'll also know if you guys can actually hear me as well. So let me know in the comments right now where you guys are tuning in from. All right. And hopefully on YouTube, you guys can see me too. Hopefully on LinkedIn, you guys can see me live as well. Okay, so let's get started, guys. First of all, I have a question for you. Did you know that a whopping 90% of people experience food cravings and struggle with them daily? Yes, you heard that right. 90%. That is crazy. And have you ever felt like a failure? Or have you ever felt shameful that you keep giving into your cravings? Well, what if I told you that it's not your fault? Thank you, Danny, for letting me know that you can hear me. So, my name is Jody Stone. I'm a certified culinary nutritionist, speaker, author, and founder of Food Swap Foodie. My mission is to illuminate the life changing power of nutrition in managing stress and enhancing your mood. Through advocating for healthy food swaps, I simplify the journey towards better health and a happier life. I believe health should be available to everybody, no matter what your circumstances are. Okay. So, again, if you guys want to let me know in the comments where you guys are tuning in from, that would be great. Yeah, I'm just going to just check here real quick. I just want to make sure we're live on Instagram. Let me just see something here because I wonder if I actually am. Let me see here. Make sure we're live. Okay, I am. Perfect. I just saw myself. All right. So Toronto, Canada, where I'm from. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So before we get started, let me know in the comments, like, what are some foods that you feel like you are addicted to? Just shout out some foods in the comments right now. So for me, I think that I would say addicted to, but the one food I have a really hard time letting go of is cookies. And I struggled with cookies on my weight loss journey. For those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that I lost 30 pounds about 9 years ago now. I talk all about it in this book right here on the shelf. I don't know where I'm pointing, but there's a book behind me somewhere. Talk all about my journey in that book. But cookies was something I struggled with big time. Like I had an immense sweet tooth. Okay. So if you guys are struggling with sugar like me or like I did, don't worry, you guys are not alone. And we're going to talk about how to bust those sugar cravings here today. But here's the thing I want you to realize. Most foods that didn't have sugar in them before now actually do. So foods like condiments, bread, crackers. And in fact, we no longer have a tolerance for foods that aren't actually sweet. So I looked at a bottle of ketchup. I looked at the ingredients in a bottle of ketchup in my kitchen, in my fridge, and the other day. And I saw that sugar was the first ingredient. What about tomatoes? Shouldn't they be the first ingredient in ketchup? Well, here's what most people don't know. Some companies, not all companies, I don't want to paint all companies with the same brush, but some companies, Danny said carrot cake. Yes, I know you love that carrot cake. So here's what most people don't know. Some companies go through great lengths to make convenient products that last longer on the shelf and that we become addicted to, no matter how much they actually harm our health. So these foods are called hyperpalatable foods, or you may have heard them be called ultra processed foods. And they're why you can't keep coming back for more. And ultra processed foods, you may have heard a lot about them in the media lately. They're getting a lot of attention and not for a good reason. So what are ultra processed foods? Because this is something I've been asked quite a bit recently as well. So what are ultra processed foods? They are foods that are mostly made from substances extracted from foods like fats, starches, added sugars, and hydrogenated fats. They also contain additives like artificial colors, artificial flavors, stabilizers, emulsifiers. So some examples are frozen meals, soft drinks, cold cuts, hot dogs, of course, fast food, packaged cookies, cakes, salty snacks. And the thing about these foods is that they're essentially man made. Now, some food companies actually hijack your taste buds by calculating what's called the bliss point, okay, of sugary foods and beverages so that you get hooked and have no choice to keep coming back for more. So, the bliss point is a specific combination. Oh, and I actually had some slides here for you guys. Let me see if I can pop those up for you. I want to take you guys on a little bit of a ride here today. All right, so I hope you guys can see that. All right, there we go. Let's do that. Okay, so we talked about what ultra processed foods are. Great. And then the bliss point. Okay, so the bliss point is essentially a very specific combination of salt, sugar, and fat that really have you just keep coming back for more. It's the reason why you cannot stop eating that food. So think about whatever that food is right now that like once you start eating it, you're just like, oh my God, like I just need more of this. I can't stop eating it. That's probably an ultra processed food. Okay. So your food cravings aren't entirely your fault. So I'm actually going to dive into 3 more reasons why you might be experiencing food cravings. This is one of them because you're eating these ultra processed foods. And I'm also going to talk about how you can tame these sugar cravings. But before I do that, I want to explain the difference between processed foods and ultra processed foods, because this is something I also get asked a little bit about as well. Like, what really is the difference between processed foods and ultra processed foods? So here is a classification system. If you guys can see that slide right now, there is a classification system called the NOVA scale. And under this system, foods are grouped into 4 main categories. Okay, so you have unprocessed and minimally processed foods, right? These are the foods that are in their natural state. They're barely altered. They still have their vitamins and their nutrients intact. So, of course, examples of this could be just like, produce. So, carrots, avocados, right? Then you have processed culinary ingredients. So, these are the ingredients that are created from a minimally processed food by either pressing, grinding, refining, milling. So think of things like olive oil or maybe almond flour. Okay. Then you have processed foods. So these are the foods that are changed from their natural state. So usually with the addition of sugar, oil, salt, or other substances. So for example, this could be canned tuna and then maybe even some cheeses. And then you have ultra processed foods. These are the foods that I just talked about before, right? So these are the foods that really take things a step further, adding ingredients like artificial colors, flavors, emulsifiers, preservatives for shelf stability, and ingredients to preserve texture. So these include a lot of packaged foods. And when I do different talks at corporations, I talk a lot about emulsifiers because a lot of us are eating these foods that have emulsifiers. I wasn't planning on getting into this topic right now, but I'll touch on a little bit. So think, for example, emulsifiers are anything that increases the shelf life of food. Anything that usually makes food taste like more creamy, right? So think of things like salad dressings, coffee creamers is the big one. A lot of emulsifiers in those coffee creamers, even those so-called healthy plant-based ones that you might be eating, okay? So these emulsifiers, what makes them really dangerous to your body is that they actually affect your microbiome. Okay. And the reason why this is important is because your microbiome is also known as your gut. If you've heard people talk about gut health before, right? So these actually disrupt the delicate balance of your microbiome, right? The reason why this is important is because we now know that neurotransmitters like serotonin that help to improve your mood are actually produced in the gut. So when you eat a lot of these ultra processed foods that have these additives, that have these emulsifiers, they actually may affect your mood. All right. Again, this is a big topic. When I talk at corporations, this is always something they want to know more about. So I can go down a whole rabbit hole with that one, but I won't. That's a whole other subject for a different day. So again, the NOVA scale defines ultra processed foods as having at least 5 ingredients, okay, sometimes even more, and containing ingredients that are not commonly used in culinary preparations. So this is why I really like to encourage people to really look at their food labels, okay? And not just the nutrition facts panel that has the calories and the fat and the carbs. Yes, that's important too. But really, I want you to start paying more attention to the ingredient label, because the ingredient label tells a much better story about what's actually going on in your food. If you look at that ingredient label and if you see things on that ingredient label that you don't recognize, guess what? Your body doesn't recognize that either. And then that creates inflammation in your body. And we know that inflammation is at the root of most, if not all, chronic diseases, costly chronic diseases. For those of you who are watching this on LinkedIn, if you happen to be a benefits administrator or an HR professional, these are the illnesses that are driving up your healthcare costs. These are the illnesses that are causing your employees to call in sick. These are the illnesses that your employees are at work, but they're not actually really present. This is called presenteeism. This is something else I also talk about in different corporations. Okay. So again, it's so important that we start reading that ingredient label. Okay. Now, according to a study published in the BMJ, ultra processed foods are the main source, about 58% of calories eaten in the United States. And it contributes to 90% of the energy we get from added sugars. Okay. So, what is added sugar? So, added sugar is sugar that's added to food during manufacturing or processing. Okay. So, added sugar can actually cause quick fluctuations in your blood sugar levels, which can affect your mood. Okay. So, that sugar kick, yes, it provides that, quick boost of energy that you need, but it's short lived, because a blood sugar drop is always going to follow that sugar high. And that's going to lead to a vicious cycle because your body just craves more and more sugar. So these continuous spikes and drops in energy levels, it can make you tired. It can make you irritable. Added sugar is such a big topic. And I cover it in great detail in my course, Sugar Secrets, where you learn how to unlock the secrets behind your sugar cravings and how to overcome them. Okay. So right now I'm actually offering that live 4-week course for 50% off. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll be popping up a link closer to the end of the training, and you guys can check that out and join. Right. So back to added sugars. So this high consumption of added sugar has been linked to so many different diseases. Okay. Obesity, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, coronary heart disease. Okay. In fact, heart disease is like the #1 killer in North America. So again, if you happen to be a corporation watching this, these diseases are significantly increasing your healthcare costs, and they can be managed with diet and nutrition education to bring those healthcare costs down and to improve your employees' productivity at the same time. Okay. And if you're just an individual watching this, you're turning to these foods because maybe you're stressed or feeling anxious or whatever it is that you're feeling. Basically, you're turning to these foods to soothe your emotion because you're trying to get that momentary pleasure. But that eventually catches up with you, because these foods ultimately in the long term are going to make you feel worse because they wreak havoc on your body because of some of the things I mentioned earlier. Okay. So with your gut health, it disrupts your gut health, it disrupts your brain chemistry. Okay. So here's why you want to be wary of ultra processed foods, which are higher in sugar. There's a lot of different reasons why, but I'm going to give you a few, and I'm going to show you some studies here just to show you that this has actually been researched. Okay. So there was a study in the JAMA Neurology that linked ultra processed foods to an increased risk of dementia. And dementia is one of those diseases that we're actually seeing on the rise right now. Okay, specifically also when Black people as well, Black individuals, we're seeing that on the rise. Okay, so this study in the JAMA Neurology, it followed over 10,000 people. Okay, for 10 years, and the researchers discovered that people who got 28% or more of their calories, right, or about 400 calories and let's say you're having like a 2,000 calorie a day diet, right? So maybe 400 of those 2,000 calories, right, are these foods, right? They had a higher risk of dementia. Another study published in the British Medical Journal analyzed the diets of more than 22,000 people in Italy and their mortality risk after 14 years. So the researchers found that those whose diets were heavy in those ultra processed foods had a higher risk of developing chronic disease or dying prematurely, particularly from cardiovascular disease. There was another recent study published earlier this year from the British Medical Journal. This is the one that's getting a lot of attention right now, so listen closely. They looked at 45 different pooled meta-analysis. So basically, they looked at studies involving over 10 million people. And the thing that makes this study really interesting is that they weren't funded by processed food companies, okay? Because that's the thing. Sometimes you have to be a little bit wary about some of the studies, some of the research, because some of them can actually be funded by ultra processed food companies. So basically, they're tweaking the findings to kind of benefit them, okay? But this one was not, all right? So here are some of the findings from this. There was a 50% increase in vascular death. So that's sudden cardiac death. Again, another thing we're seeing on the rise, even in young people. Heart failure, a 48 to 53% increased risk of anxiety and other mental health disorders like depression. So this mental health crisis that we're seeing, it's largely driven, not solely driven, but a huge part of it is because of these ultra processed foods. There's also a higher risk of type 2 diabetes, autoimmune disease, inflammatory disorders, and a link between ultra processed foods and a greater risk of death from any cause, and a 40 to 66% higher risk of heart disease related deaths. Okay. Obesity, diabetes, sleep problems. Okay. And also a 22% increased risk of depression. Okay, this is all linked back to these ultra processed foods. Again, some of these foods we're turning to because we're saying we don't have time to meal prep, we don't have time to cook, or we're turning to these foods to actually soothe our emotions. Okay, and according to the CDC, more than 70% of deaths, or 7 million deaths a year in the US, are caused by these chronic diseases, caused by these processed foods, these processed food diet. The list goes on and on with chronic disease, but chronic disease actually can really be controlled through diet. And chronic disease really is the number one driver of our healthcare expenditures. So, one of the questions I get asked more often is how to eat healthier. Okay. Whenever I'm asking or whenever helping my clients to eat healthier, right? And how do I make healthy changes stick? And I always encourage them to identify their why. Why is it important for you to eat healthier? Okay. So I hope some of these stats can help you to create your big why if you're watching this and you want to start making some changes in your life, start making some changes in your health. Okay. But before we go any further, I want you to let me know in the comments, how does it feel to be battling with your sweet tooth? Let me know in the comments. How does it feel? And even if you're watching the replay of this, still pop it in the comments and I'm going to come back to it. Okay. Because I know when I was trying to lose weight, like I just felt like a failure when I was trying to battle my sugar cravings. Again, going back to the cookies is the thing I couldn't say no to. I just felt hopeless. I felt like a failure because I kept trying so many different things and it just wasn't working. And I also felt guilty because I knew these foods weren't good for me, but I kept giving in to these foods time and time again. Sandra says, very hard. It is hard. It does take an emotional toll, right? So now that I've scared you a little bit with these statistics, let's get to your food cravings. Because food cravings, so Sandra says, I try nothing, but nothing works. Okay, Sandra, well, stay tuned on this live, okay? Because I'm going to start going through some other reasons why you can't stop these food cravings and why these food cravings happen. And I'm also going to give you some tips on how to curb them, okay? Because food cravings can be a real challenge. Let's face it. Even for me, it's a challenge, okay? From weight gain to unhealthy eating habits and mood swings, these cravings can really throw us off balance. So we talked about ultra processed foods earlier, but this is not the complete picture as to why you can't control your food cravings. So before I get into that, I want you to know, first of all, that food cravings are entirely normal. Everybody has them, even me. So if you see any wellness expert or health expert that says, I never get food cravings, they're lying to you. Okay. I still get food cravings. I crave licorice. I love licorice. Okay. That's why I can't have it in the house. I crave ice cream. I crave chocolate, pizza. There's so many foods I crave, right? So it's entirely normal, right? So you don't need to feel guilty for experiencing them. So let's dive into some additional reasons why your food cravings happen and what you can do to stop them. Because understanding the root causes really is crucial in finding a way to conquer them. All right. So before I get into that, if you guys need any help with conquering your sugar cravings, I really want to invite you to join my course, Sugar Secrets. You're going to learn how to unlock the secrets behind your sugar cravings and how to overcome them. And right now, I'm offering this 4-week live course for 50% off. So again, if you want to learn more about that, I'm going to be popping up a link. I could probably pop it up right now. Okay, so if you guys see that, there's a link right there. If you guys want to head over to that link and join Sugar Secrets, it's trudyestone.com/sugar-secrets. Okay. I'm only taking a handful of people in this course, and the price will be going up on Monday. So if you struggle with sugar cravings and eating unhealthy foods, do not wait. Okay. So I got another question for you guys. What are your biggest challenges when it comes to reducing your sugar intake? Let me know right now. Let me know. What are your biggest challenges when it comes to reducing your sugar intake? Let me know in the comments. I think for me, it's tuning into food or eating certain foods when I feel emotional, because I have had some things happen to my life in my life that have made me feel like I turn to food to soothe sometimes. I've shared this before on my podcast. If you guys listen to my podcast, the Mind Your Body Show, that I've had miscarriages before, right? So due to that, when you're feeling down, you're feeling sad, you turn to food sometimes, right? To soothe your emotions, right? So I would say sometimes I am an emotional eater. So that's still a little bit of a challenge for me. I try to just have some healthy snacks prepped at all times so that I'm making healthier choices, or healthier choices are available for me. So that's another thing I want you to consider as well. Like, how can you just prep ahead, just a few healthy snacks so that when you do feel like turning to food to soothe your emotions, you have something there. Okay. So another reason why you might not be able to tame your sugar cravings or just your food cravings in general is due to hormonal imbalances. Okay. Throwing your hormones completely out of whack. So you need to get enough sleep, because lack of sleep can cause intense cravings and make it difficult to resist unhealthy foods. That actually is another challenge for me. I should mention that, because when I don't get enough sleep, I crave carbs. Okay. Specifically like fries. Like I want fries, I want chips. Okay. So lack of sleep can really increase those cravings and make it harder to resist those unhealthy foods. So you want to make sure that you're getting enough sleep each night to manage your cravings. This is such an important one and is one that we often overlook. All right. Oh, let me go back to the slides here. 1 second here. Let me see if I can get to the next slide. So if you find yourself like constantly eating or grazing, throughout the day, lack of sleep and eating is more closely intertwined than you actually may think. All right, give me a second here, guys. Still trying to get used to this. All right, so hormonal imbalances. Okay, perfect. We got the slide up. Amazing. Okay. So here's why lack of sleep and overeating are more closely intertwined than you might think. This is because when you don't get enough sleep, it completely throws your hormones out of whack. Okay. If you're actively trying to eat healthier or lose weight, sleep is a key part of losing fat, because losing fat really has to do with how well your hormones are functioning. But even if you're not trying to lose weight, this is still really important to just keep up with your healthy eating habits. Okay. Now, when you don't get enough sleep, your body produces less leptin, which is the appetite suppressing hormone that sends a signal to your brain to say, hey, I'm full. And it produces more ghrelin, which is the appetite stimulating hormone. So if you've ever been unable to stop eating everything in sight when you don't get enough sleep, then you're probably experiencing this hormonal imbalance at work. Okay. Sleep also gives you more control over your brain. How? Well, when we look at brain imaging scans from UC Berkeley, you guys will notice I share a lot of stats and research, okay? Because I always believe in backing everything I'm saying with research, and I am a research junkie. All right, so they looked at brain imaging scans from UC Berkeley, and it showed that sleep deprivation caused increased brain activity in the amygdala. So the amygdala is a part of your brain that's associated with motivation to eat. Okay. The amygdala is your survival based and reactive part of your brain. It's almost like the alarm system in your brain. And some studies show a correlation between lack of sleep and reduced activity in the prefrontal cortex part of the brain. And that part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, is responsible for decision making and self control. Okay. So that means when you lack sleep, your ability to make healthy decisions is severely reduced. So do yourself a favor and get more sleep so that making those healthy eating decisions is a lot easier and a lot less of a struggle. All right, so the next reason why you might not be able to control your cravings is due to emotional triggers. And I just, confess what mine is to you guys, what my emotional trigger is, right? But did you know that people who eat ultra processed foods have 80% more mental health days? That's right. 80%. That is crazy. Okay. And it's partly due because remember the thing I talked about earlier with emulsifiers and how it disrupts your microbiome and how, neurotransmitters like serotonin that make you feel happy are in the gut, right? So if you're constantly eating these foods that are negatively impacting your gut health, it's negatively impacting your mood, right? So this is why managing stress and overwhelm is super important because it can be such a major trigger for emotional eating, stress eating, and giving into those food cravings time and time again. Giving into those foods that I shared earlier are linked to so many different chronic illnesses. Okay, this is why I'm very popular at corporations and speaking about this topic because a lot of people turn to foods to manage their stress. Okay, so to end your struggles with overeating, stress eating, emotional eating, you'll really want to feed your hunger for stress relief and start adding smart, doable ways to manage or reduce your stress. Okay, it could be anything. Do whatever works for you. It could be watching something funny on YouTube. It could be going outside for a walk. It could be talking to a friend that always makes you laugh. It could be watching cat videos. Whatever your thing is that puts a smile on your face, do that in a moment of stress. Okay. Even just breathing in a moment of stress has huge impacts on your overall well being. Okay. So if I'm feeling stressed, I'll just stop where I am. Okay. Not driving, but I'll just stop where I am and I'll just take like 3 deep breaths in and out. Because when you do that, it actually activates your parasympathetic nervous system. It's almost like putting the brakes on stress. All right, I'm trying not to go too off on a tangent here. All right, so when you're stressed, there's also vital nutrients that get depleted in your body that actually help you to cope with stress. So these nutrients are vitamin C, iron, B vitamins, and magnesium. So I want to encourage you to find healthy ways to deal with these negative emotions, okay? Because it really is an important first step for people who struggle with emotional eating or who struggle with stress eating. So first, try to identify what your triggers are. So how do you do that? Keep a food diary, okay? Keep a food diary to identify the foods and the situations that are triggering your cravings. So I want you to note what you ate, what situation or what event preceded you turning to that food to soothe your emotions, okay? Because once you know what your triggers are, you can start to develop strategies to avoid or managing them. And I often say that your food journal or food diary, it's almost like Google Maps. That's how I kind of like to equate it to, right? Because if you're going someplace you've never gone to before, right? What do? You plug the address into the GPS of where it is that you want to go. And why do you do that? Because that will tell you how to get from where you are to where it is you want to go. And that's what the food journal does. Okay, so a lot of people will roll their eyes with the food journal, but I'm not tracking my food. That sucks. I highly want to encourage you to change your stance on that. Because all of my clients that I put them through with the food journal and tracking what they were eating for at least 3 days, but if you could do it up to 7 days, even better, because you're going to get a lot of data to work with. When they do that, there are so many aha moments when they do their food journal. Okay, because they're seeing what their triggers are. They're seeing what times of day they eat or don't eat, because that can also be why maybe you're binge eating as well, right? Or why you have these relentless food cravings. So the food journal really does reveal a lot, and it helps to give you your starting point so you know exactly where to start. That's where I started on my 30-pound weight loss journey. I started with the food journal. I was overwhelmed. I had no idea where to start. I just knew I needed to do a lot better than I was actually doing because I was eating all the foods that were not serving me at that time. And when I did the food journal, I uncovered a lot of things. It was really eye-opening for me, but it gave me a starting point. And then once I started with that one thing, which at that time was putting less sugar in my coffee, once I started to get more comfortable with that, and I got that under my belt, that gave me the motivation and that gave me the momentum to add on the next thing and then the next thing. So my weight loss was a little bit slower, but it was because I really wanted to develop a plan for myself that was sustainable and that worked. I wanted to develop healthy habits that I would have for life, and I do. Okay. So once you know what your triggers are, again, you can start to develop strategies to avoid or to manage them, right? Journaling. This is also another really great way to work through your emotions. It's a great way to sort out all of the thoughts going on in your head and getting them out of your head and onto paper. This is another one that's really important. So another talk that I give is how to turn stress into your superpower. And I take people through my RISE framework of how to rise above stress. So the R in that framework stands for rumination. So rumination is when you continue to dwell on distressing events over and over and over again. It could be maybe a conversation you have with a coworker that didn't go well. It could be a conversation you have with your kid and you were way more harsh on your kid than you thought you should have been, right? So rumination is when you constantly dwell on negative situations over and over and over again. And when you do that, you actually train that emotional part of your brain to become more stronger, which means you're going to spend more time ruminating or more time worrying in the future. And the reason why that's important is because, again, when you have all these thoughts in your head and you're going things over and over and over again in your mind, you're probably going to turn to food to soothe your emotions or just unhealthy food. So journaling is a great way to work out everything that's going on in your mind and getting it out of your head and onto paper. Okay. Again, going back to earlier, I shared, I had a miscarriage, right? And when that happened, there was just so many things going on in my brain in terms of how I was feeling, like all my different emotions. And I was just trying to work out everything in my head. And that's when I joined an expressive writing class and I started journaling. And you don't need to join a writing class to journal. All you need to do is just Google journaling prompts for whatever it is you're feeling, anger, it could be jealousy, it could be sadness, it could be loneliness, journaling prompts for loneliness, journaling prompts for stress, journaling prompts for anger, whatever that is. And then just use those prompts to help you to start writing. And that way you're not just staring at a blank page and being like, what do I write? Okay. So again, it's a great way to get the thoughts out of your head and onto paper. Maybe your wind down routine at the end of the day is to think of 3 things that you're grateful for, or 3 things that went really, really well that day and how that made you feel, and journal about it. Because now you're journaling all these feelings of gratitude, right? And that's going to make you have a more positive mood, right? And again, I get it. Like, as someone who lost 30 pounds and turned to food to soothe my emotions many times, it can be hard from turning to foods to soothe to other forms of stress relief. But it's just important that you start somewhere and test out a bunch of different strategies. Okay. For me, it might be journaling. For you, it might be watching cat videos on YouTube that make you laugh. Like, do whatever it is for you that helps you to get that stress relief. Okay. I just want you to start somewhere. Okay. Going out for a walk, anywhere. Just choose something that works for you. All right. So the next reason why you keep having food cravings and why food cravings aren't your fault could be nutrient deficiencies. And I think this is the last one. Actually, no, I have a bonus tip for you. I wasn't going to share it, but I'm feeling generous today because today is actually my wedding anniversary. Hey, 10 years married to Mr. Wonderful Danny Stone. So I'm feeling generous today. So I'm going to give you guys a bonus tip. I think you guys are really going to like. But this next tip is nutrient deficiencies. This is another reason why you might not be able to control your food cravings, because a lack of nourishment or nutrient deficiencies, it may cause you to feel out of control around food. Okay. Food is fuel for your body. Okay. Look, some of us are putting the ultra premium fuel into our cars, but we're not putting the premium fuel in our bodies. And by premium, I don't mean expensive food, because eating healthy does not have to be expensive. And if you're looking for ways to eat healthy on a budget, I highly recommend you listen to my podcast, The Mind Your Body Show. I don't know what episode number it is off the bat, but there's an episode where I talk about how to eat healthy on a budget. There's another one if you're trying to lose weight. It's how to eat healthy on a budget when you're trying to lose weight. Okay, so don't tell me it's too expensive. There are ways. There are things you can do. There are tips, hacks, ways to save money. So listen to one of those episodes and you'll learn how. That's a different episode. That's a different podcast. All right. So nutrient deficiencies. All right. So again, food is fuel for our body. So food, it really does nourish our body so that we're able to function and perform at our best, to keep up with the many demands of life. Okay. And speaking of that, if you're saying or thinking to yourself right now, well, I'm too busy to meal prep, I'm too busy to cook dinner. Well, guess what? That's exactly when you need to dial in your nutrition, when you are stressed. I just shared earlier that there's certain nutrients that get depleted in your body during times of stress. Okay. So when you're feeling stressed out, that's exactly the time to dial in your nutrition. All right. So for me personally, I know if I have a really busy week of like TV appearances or speaking appearances, what I'll do is I'll make sure that I meal prep my meals on a Sunday, because if I don't, I'm probably going to go to Papa John's, Popeyes, A&W, because I love their not wings, the onion rings, right? So I meal prep my food when I know I'm going to have a busy week. So again, it's just planning ahead a little bit, okay? Because if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. All right? So again, think about food as fuel for your body. Our bodies can also tell us when it's lacking in nourishment, but most of us, we're not pausing or sitting still with ourselves long enough to understand what your body is trying to tell you. So I want to encourage you to just take a couple moments throughout the day to just sit still with yourself. Ask yourself some questions like, if you're feeling like overwhelmed or stressed or anxious, just stop in the moment and just say, okay, how am I feeling right now? Put some words to it. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Okay, what's one thing I can do right now to move me out of this state? Okay, well, I can call my sister because my sister always makes me laugh, which she does. My older sister, Lemaine. Just do whatever you can do to move you out of that state. You can go for a walk. Okay. But I want to encourage you to just spend a little bit more time sitting still with yourself, just listening to yourself a little bit more. I know people in my life who just cannot stand to be alone. They cannot stand silence. And either there's always having to be around a lot of people and they just can't stand silence. Okay. And it's so important to sit down and just connect with yourself. All right. I really learned this during the pandemic because I wasn't really doing this before. So everything I'm telling you too is something that I've either taught my clients or I've done personally myself, or things that are backed by research, or all of the above. All right. Now, there's also certain cues that point to certain nutrient deficiencies that you might have. Okay. So if you crave salty snacks, anybody crave salty snacks, say me in the comments. All right. So if you crave salty snacks, right, that could mean that, cortisol is really, really high. Okay. Because cortisol, which is the stress hormone, it has a diuretic effect on your body, which can make you feel dehydrated, which can lead to salt cravings. Speaking of which, I'm going to take a sip. So Sandra says, me. Sandra, what salty snacks do you crave? Let me know in the comments. Mine is Sun Chips. Harvest cheddar, please. Don't try to give me that French onion. That's one of my chip cravings. Someone just fell off my desk, but that's okay. We'll keep rolling. All right. So if you crave sweets, okay, again, this craving can be traced back to cortisol, because when we're stressed out, we have a high level of cortisol in our body, and we crave sugar because if we eat some sugar, we're going to get another hormone called serotonin, which is calming and which is relaxing. Sandra says chips. Yes, me too, girl. So I want you to focus on foods that are rich in vitamin C. Okay. So a lot of people know that vitamin C is important for your immune health. Yes, it is, but it's also important for helping you to manage stress. The reason why is because your adrenal glands, which help your body to manage stress, require vitamin C in order to cope. Require vitamin C to help your body to cope with stress. Okay. So I want you to eat a lot of vitamin C rich foods. Berries are a really great source. Okay. If you eat berries like blueberries, you're going to get anthocyanins, which have positive effects on your brain health, right? Iron rich foods, leafy greens, lentils, and pumpkin seeds. Eat those B vitamin rich foods. Sweet potatoes, yum. Love me some sweet potatoes. Avocados. And also add in those magnesium rich foods like bananas, nuts, seeds, and even dark chocolate. Yes, you have permission to eat the dark chocolate. Just make sure it's at least 70% cocoa, okay? Because the higher the cocoa amounts, if you go 70, 80, 90, is the more polyphenols you're going to get, the more benefits you're going to get, okay? All right, so I told you guys I was feeling a little bit generous today, so I'm going to give you a bonus tip. So the bonus tip why you can't control your cravings is because you're not eating enough protein or fiber, okay? This is such an important one, okay? I feel like I'm on Maury right now. Have you guys ever watched Maury Povich? And then they have the people come up on the stage and they're trying to, anyways, and they do the clapping thing. You are not, anyways, I digress. All right, so not getting enough protein and fiber, right? Now, this is an important one I learned on my weight loss journey, okay? Not eating enough fiber or protein. Like, I was hardly eating any fiber. And when I did the food journal and I started tracking what I was eating, I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm hardly getting any fiber in my diet here. So this is why they're important. Protein and fiber are responsible for making you feel full and satisfied after a meal and to help you to stick to your healthy eating goals. Okay. So without these two elements in balance, protein and fiber, you're going to be more likely to succumb to temptation or food cravings. Okay. Also, if you don't have protein and fiber in your diet, blood sugar is going to be more prone to changes, meaning that when you're around food, you're probably going to feel hungry even more often. And this can make it difficult to determine we're actually full. So I want you to opt into fiber rich foods, okay? And things like fruit, raw vegetables with hummus, whole grain crackers, maybe with some nut butter, some crackers, put some like whole grain crackers, maybe put some almond butter on it. You could sprinkle some cinnamon on there. Cinnamon is great for blood sugar regulation, by the way, and air pop popcorn. Okay. I wasn't going to share this, but I just mentioned cinnamon. It just reminded me of something. So I shared earlier that I was trying to cut back on sugar in my coffee, and I was dumping 5 packs of sugar into my coffee every day, right? So what I did to wean myself off of sugar was I started adding cinnamon into my coffee. Okay. So cinnamon helps to regulate your blood sugar levels, and cinnamon also has a bit of like a naturally kind of sweet taste. So that made it a lot easier for me to cut back on the sugar in my coffee. So just a little tip there. All right. I also want you guys to choose high fiber snacks. Things like nuts and seeds. This is going to help to prevent those energy dips and those cravings in between meals. Okay. You can also add them to things like yogurt. So maybe you get a high protein yogurt, maybe you get a Greek yogurt, or you get like a plant-based yogurt. There's a plant-based yogurt I really like right now. It's by Silk and it's really high in protein. So you guys were looking for a plant-based one. That's an excellent one. I talked about that on breakfast television a few weeks back. But you can get the yogurt, add the berries to it, and then maybe add some nuts and seeds. That is such a power-packed, high protein, high fiber snack, and it tastes delicious. Okay. Flax seeds and chia seeds, those are both rich in soluble fiber. Okay. That helps to stabilize your blood sugar levels, helps to suppress cravings, and also helps to promote digestive health. Okay. Flax seeds and chia seeds, man, like these are superstars to help you to alleviate cravings. I'm telling you. Okay. So another thing I like to make is I like to make like a really nice, it's like a banana pecan mousse. And it sounds fancy, but it's not. So I just take like some bananas, I'll take a little bit of flax seeds, some pecans, and and a little bit of almond milk, maybe a dash of vanilla extract, and I'll blend it up into like a mousse. Oh my, and some cheese. It's so good. Like you're eating this and you're like, is this really healthy? So I'm telling you guys, healthy food can be delicious and you can get the nutrients your body needs at the same time. Okay. So in conclusion, oh my goodness, let me see what the slides are. Okay, hold on. Oh, ahead of myself there. Okay. So in conclusion, addressing food cravings really is essential for your overall well-being. By implementing some of the tips I discussed today, you can make a significant difference in your life and bid farewell to those pesky cravings once and for all. So I really want to encourage you to give these techniques a try. Okay. Let me know in the comments right now, which one of these techniques are you going to try? Are you going to add more protein and more high fiber foods? Are you going to try to increase your sleep? Are you going to try to maybe eat more of those vitamin C rich foods and maybe more of those B vitamins that help with, producing those neurotransmitters like serotonin that make you happy? Let me know in the comments like which one of these you're actually going to try. And I would love to hear it. Even if you don't know right now, you're not quite sure, let me know. Come back. All right. Once you try it, come back and let me know in the comments which one you try. All right. And don't forget, if you need more help to stop overeating and giving into those food cravings, I want to invite you to join my course, Sugar Secrets, where you're going to learn how to unlock the secrets behind all of their sugar cravings and how to overcome them. Oh, hold on. Let me just do that. I'm just going to do that. Is that gone? Okay, we'll see. All right. So join my course, Sugar Secrets. You're going to learn how to unlock the secrets behind your sugar cravings and how to overcome them right now. So this is a 4-week live course where you get live coaching with me each and every week for 4 weeks. Okay. So this is a 4-week course and I'm offering it for 50% off for a limited time. I want to keep this group small because I really want to give you guys dedicated support, dedicated personalized support. Okay, so I'm only taking a handful of people and the price is going up on Monday, May 27th. So if you struggle with food cravings, if you struggle with sugar cravings and eating unhealthy foods, this program is for you. Okay, so right now I'm inviting you guys to join this live 4-week course at a super low cost where I'm going to teach you how to stop eating lots of sugar so you can boost your energy, improve your mood, lose weight, even if you feel like it is too difficult to avoid sugar. Okay. So these are the same strategies I use to lose 30 pounds and maintain it, even with a massive sweet tooth. Okay. So this is an introductory offer, which is why the rate is so low. And I'm never going to offer this course for this price ever again. So you can join today until Monday for the low investment of just $97. $97. That's it. Okay. And you're getting 4 live classes with me. So to join, all you guys need to do is head over to trudyestone.com/sugar-secrets. Okay. Sandra says she wants to try a little bit of everything. Sandra, please come back and let me know what you tried. I would love to know. Okay. So again, this program is $97. Guys, if you were to do like a 1-hour coaching with me, you're looking at $500. Okay. You are getting a 4-week live coaching program for $97, where you have a complete system that teaches you why you have your sugar cravings. So there's a lot more reasons why I didn't cover in this live, because for the sake of time, right? And how to actually reduce those sugar cravings. And again, if there is someone who struggled with sugar cravings and learn how to tame them, it is me. Wrote a book about it behind me on the shelf there. Okay. So again, I had a massive sweet tooth. I still do. All right. And I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly doing research to see what the foods are that trigger your food cravings, what you can do to reduce those food cravings. Okay. So if you're wondering if this course is for you, okay, here's a little bit of why this course is for you. All right. So you guys can see here, if you have intense sugar cravings and feel like you have no willpower around sugar, right? This is for you. If you feel like you're reaching for sugar when you're tired, stressed, or feeling emotional, if you struggle with finding satisfying alternatives to sugary foods that can actually satisfy your cravings, this is for you. Okay. Not knowing where to start and feeling like it's just too hard to reduce sugar, and you need a system to consume less sugar without the struggle, this is for you. All right. So Christy asked, how do you feel about adrenal cocktails? Girl, I did a segment about this on Cityline. Okay. So you should go back and watch that. But yes, adrenal cocktails, I firmly believe in them. Okay. And I do them not every single night, but I do them every once in a while. Shout out to Mr. Warner in the house. How you doing? Yeah, so adrenal cocktails are great because they really help with balancing your hormones before your head hits the pillow. So yes, I'm a huge fan of them. I also have adrenal cocktails that you could have after a night of drinking so that you don't have a hangover the next day. So we can talk about that on the course once you join the course. So here's what you're going to discover in the course: why your body craves sugar, the surprising way sugar can hijack your mood and emotional well-being, practical tips for reducing sugar intake without feeling deprived. Guys, this is why the name of my brand is Food Swap Foodie. All right. Because I firmly believe in healthy food swaps. It's not about saying goodbye to your favorite foods. It is not about deprivation. It is making smarter choices that you can feel good about, smarter choices that make you feel empowered. Okay. I'm not telling you to stop. I'm inviting you to swap. All right. You're also going to discover practical tips for reducing sugar intake without feeling deprived. We just said that. How to unlock the hidden triggers that lead to those sugar cravings and how to disarm them. Satisfying natural sweeteners and alternatives that won't compromise your health. Okay. You're also going to learn about the role of emotions and how to create balance during times of stress or sadness instead of turning to sugary foods for comfort. Okay. How to create a more resilient mindset so that you can end that constant cycle of cravings and indulging in sugar. How to navigate social situations and temptations without compromising your goals. This is a big one. Yo, we have summer coming up. There are patios, there are barbecues, there are parties, and there are a lot of people in each one of those scenarios that are going to be like, come on, you could have that drink. You deserve it. Come on. You could have that burger or this food or that food. Insert whatever food is your Achilles heel there. Okay. So I'm going to teach you how to navigate those social situations. Imagine how invaluable this information will be heading into the summer. Okay. So this is what you're going to discover in the course, and so much more that I couldn't even fit on the slide for the sake of time. All right. So what's inside? You're going to get 4 weeks of live coaching with me. That's just say 4 weeks of live coaching, not self-paced video launch. So we're doing this live. Okay. So you get 4 weeks of live coaching with me. Okay. we're going to kick things off with a sugar addiction quiz. This is going to help you to identify how problematic your relationship is with sugar. You probably have an idea, but this quiz is really going to help you to drill down into how problematic that relationship actually is. And it's going to give you an indication of where it is that you need to start. Okay. There's also a 7-step prep phase plan. Okay. I'm not just going to pour a bucket of cold water on you and then here we go. Right. There's going to be a prep phase plan to help you to prepare for this journey. Okay. You're also going to get a 7-day sugar tracker. And it's actually a 30-day sugar tracker because we're doing this for 30 days. We're doing this for 4 weeks. Okay. You're going to get a sugar secrets journal with daily prompts for 28 days. Remember, we talked about journaling earlier and the importance of journaling to get all those thoughts out of your head and onto paper, right? When you're making any sort of healthy changes in your life, journaling can be so important, again, to help you to work through all of those thoughts. So you're going to get a journal with daily prompts for 28 days. My assistant helped me to put together a beautiful journal, okay? You guys are absolutely going to just love it. All right, you're also going to get the workbook. Okay, so the workbook includes supplements to curb sugar cravings. Yes, we are talking about some supplements to curb those sugar cravings. Okay, deficiencies. Now, it's not all about supplements. I want to just be clear about that. I am going to teach you about foods and nutrients and all that good stuff, but there are some supplements that are proven to help you to curb sugar cravings. Okay, and again, it's supplement. That's what supplement means. Okay, all right, so it's going to be that. In the workbook, you're also going to find more about the deficiencies that are associated with sugar cravings. I touched a little bit today. We're going to get more into that in that workbook. Healthy swaps for some of the top sources of sugar. Yes, I almost forgot about this, man. Oh my God, I put so much work into this course. All right. So in this workbook, you're going to learn about healthier swaps for things like beverages, breakfast cereal, where there's a lot of added sugar in breakfast cereal, baked treats, my specialty. I love making healthier treats. Healthier snacks, and more. Okay, so there is so much in this course. Okay, and there's also a bonus. If that's enough, okay, there's a bonus. Dr. Vibe in the house. Thank you so much for the anniversary greetings. So if that's not enough, there's also a bonus guide that I'm throwing in. It is called 5 Guilt-Free Healthy Snacks. So you're going to uncover 5 top guilt-free healthy snacks that satisfy your sweet cravings without the sugar crash. Okay. These are desserts that you're going to be eating and you're going to be like, how is this even healthy? Okay. There's nutrients in there that are proven to help you to manage stress. Okay. There's nutrients in there that are proven to help with supporting your metabolism. Okay. Game changer. All right, so that's the bonus I'm throwing in. All right, so the link is there scrolling across the screen, right? So you go to trudyestone.com/sugar-secrets. Your investment today is only $97 for 4 weeks of live coaching with everything that I just showed you in that slide. Let's see if we can get back to that slide without breaking things. Okay, everything you see in that slide. Again, it's 4 weeks of live coaching with me. Okay, it's not the self-paced video modules you see on there. It's 4 weeks of live coaching with me. You can ask me all of your burning questions. You can get the support you need. You can get the accountability that you need. And accountability is so important because a lot of us sometimes might know the things that we need to do, but we need someone to help us along the way. We need someone to hold us accountable. And sometimes when we're trying to make healthy changes in our lives, we don't want to tell the people in our lives that we're making these changes, right? Because we feel like, okay, well, I said I was going to try to lose weight before. I said I was going to eat healthier before, and then I didn't. And then now I feel stupid. I feel embarrassed to tell people I'm doing this again, right? So you have me. I'm going to hold you accountable, okay? And here is the thing. I'm also throwing in another bonus. This is not on the slides, but I'm throwing in another bonus because this is why this is so important to me. And I always feel like I'm going to get emotional when I talk about this because when that study came out about the ultra processed foods, I was happy, but it made me sad at the same time. I was happy because I feel like we need to be talking more about the detriments of these ultra processed foods on our health and the chronic conditions and diseases that they're linked to. So I was happy that we were shining more of a spotlight on that, but I was sad because there are so many people who are addicted to these foods. There are so many people who eat these foods day in and day out. There are so many people that are feeding these foods to their kids. And that's another stat that I didn't even share on this training, but it's estimated about 75% of the foods that adolescents eat are actually processed foods. Okay. So This is why I'm so passionate about this. This is why I'm doing this introductory offer for just $97 because I want to help as many people as I possibly can. Okay. So if I get emotional about it, that's why I really love helping people. And I just really want healthy eating and nutrition education to be as accessible to as many people as possible. Okay. So when you join Sugar Secrets, you get me as your coach. And one thing I am fully committed to is your success. So when you sign up for Sugar Secrets, I'm going to ask you what your top 2 desired outcomes are when you complete the course. If for whatever reason you don't complete those 2 outcomes, I will personally get on the phone with you so we can figure out what's going on and see what needs to be adjusted. Okay, so really, you have nothing to lose with this course and everything to gain. Okay, so if you go through the course, complete the material, show up live to class, or watch the recordings if you can't make it live, and still take action, and you still haven't achieved those 2 goals that you wanted to achieve in that program, you will get a bonus one-on-one session with me to troubleshoot anything that you're struggling with during the healthy eating process. Okay. So that one call alone is valued at about $500. But again, you are getting this 4-week live coaching program and the one-on-one bonus call, should you need it, for just $97 when you sign up for Sugar Secrets. All right. So if you see me looking over here, just because I'm trying to look at the comments on Instagram because I can't see them here. All right. So do you guys have any comments or questions for me? I'm going to open it up right now for questions. It could be about anything I talked about during the live. It could be about the course Sugar Secrets. Because I have any questions at all for me. And if you don't, it's okay. If you don't feel comfortable posting it in the comments, if you want to DM me, that's cool too. You can DM me and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. But the link is right there to join the program, trudyestone.com/sugar-secrets. All right. I really hope to see you guys in the course. Again, don't take long because I've actually opened this up to my email list, and my email list has already snagged a handful of those spots. And I just sent out another email before I went on this live. So if you guys are really interested in this program, I highly recommend that you don't wait because this price will be going up on Monday. So this $97 offer is only available until Monday or when the course is full, whichever one comes first. And I feel like the full part is the one that's going to come first based on what I'm seeing with my email list right now. So if you guys are interested in this, go ahead and sign up. There's a link right there. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, I'm fully invested in your success and I would love to see you in this program. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down because I have some anniversary celebrations to tend to. If you guys didn't hear earlier, today is my 10-year wedding anniversary. I'm married to this amazing man. I have a picture back here. It's not the best picture. This amazing man. This is one of our vacation pictures here, by the way. And normally I'm actually on vacation during our anniversary. I'm normally on vacation. I'm normally on a beach somewhere, like sitting under like a tiki hut or something like that. But this year I actually have quite a few speaking engagements that happen to kind of fall around this time, like next week, this weekend. And so we had to postpone the trip. So we're still going on the trip. It's going to be in a couple of weeks. Okay. Thank you so much for the anniversary wishes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so if you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to shut it down. But again, if you do have questions, DM me. Happy to answer any questions you have. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to this live today. You guys could have been doing anything else. You guys could have been anywhere else. So I want to acknowledge you for showing up here today and showing up for yourself to try to get to the root of why your food cravings aren't your fault and try to learn some ways to try to tame those cravings. So again, guys, thank you so much. This is all I got. So thank you so much for joining up today. Again, hope to see you guys in Sugar Secrets. If you have any more questions, hit me up and let me know. Bye for now.